देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरय नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिके ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदां श्रीगुरो वैष्णवस्य श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं विकम्पं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणललिता श्रीशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमस्ते जनकाराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम राम। सुभक्त दादा रास बिहारी कृपदाय कृष्ण पुस्तके श्रुति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी सरस्वती देवी गौरव निर्विशेष शून्यवादी मोक्षम करोति we are continuing to read Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation of Vedanta Sutra. So he is describing what is Brahman. Brahman has three aspects. The impersonal aspect, which is a negation of material concepts, experience. Then comes the Brahman, the Paramatma. So it's impersonal Brahman is just a negative conception and in creation. Paramatma is a localized aspect of Brahman within all kinds of material bodies. So we just come back on this point of Paramatma. So remember that Paramatma exists because we are in this material world. Paramatma accompanies the conditioned soul who wants to come and live in this material world. So Paramatma accompanies the soul. Actually, Paramatma deposits the souls in the material world. Because this Jiva Atma is absolutely, he's dependent. He has free will. That free will is his entirely. But he doesn't have the capacity because he's part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. He's naturally dependent. But he has 100% freedom to decide what to do with his life or her life. So this Paramatma deposits the soul in the material world and monitors his journey and fulfill his desires in this world. So So that's why it's written here. Paramatma is a localized aspect of Brahman within all kinds of material. This Atma is going out of the covering of this material world. The Paramatma just stays on the periphery. Paramatma stays on the periphery. And it's the effulgence actually adding to the effulgence of Brahman. So Paramatma means not yet surrender and desire to serve Krishna. We are not yet there. But we've gone beyond, meaning that Paramatma realization means Brahman is surpassed. In Brahman, now there is no more birth and death. So the soul is able to live independent of a material body and will live eternally. See the sub aspect. In Paramatma, he's conscious, he becomes conscious, she becomes conscious that existence beyond this eternity and everything comes by what we have heard from Shastra. So see the Vedic literatures, we have to understand one thing. The Vedic literatures are presenting Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Where we are attracted, each one of us who are here, all of us were attracted by Krishna. That's why we are here. But there are many who are not attracted by Krishna. Their interest is either Brahman, and therefore when they read the Vedas, they only see Brahman. But those who hears about Paramatma, they get a first understanding of Paramatma by reading the Vedic literatures. So this description of Paramatma is given. And this Jiva is searching when he's doing his yoga practice. He's searching for that image that has been described in the Vedic literatures. And he holds that image in his mind until that image becomes factual. And that's what we call his Paramatma realized. Exactly same thing we are doing when we are worshipping our deities. So when we worship our deities in the beginning, it's as if he's just gross matter. But the more you worship, the more this deity becomes alive and alive. So deity made of mind is what the Ashtanga yogis are focusing on. And when finally they actually have darshan of this form of Vishnu Viduraha. But Paramatma realization is that they're satisfied there. They don't want to go further. But if by good luck, a devotee gives him a nudge and say, what are you looking? Do some seva. Interact with this Paramatma, interact. So we don't know how long this, unfortunate yogi can go on in contemplation of his Paramatma. So if by good luck, Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Beach, Bhakti start to awaken in his heart, then he may want to do some service for Krishna. So this is what has been explained so far. All right, who wants to read? The Puranas are also supplementary the Vedas. Who wants to read? Okay, Usha. Read.
Hare Krishna. The Puranas are also supplementary to the Vedas. The Vedic mantras are too difficult for an ordinary man, woman, women Sudras, and the so-called twice-born higher castes are unable to penetrate into the sense of the Vedas, and thus the Mahabharata, as well as the Puranas, are made easy to explain the truths of the Vedas. In his prayers before the boy Sri Krishna, Brahma said that there is no limit to the fortune of the residents of the Vrajbhumi, headed by Sri Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamaya, because the eternal absolute truth has become their ultimate relative.
So now in this paragraph now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is establishing that the Puranas, they are supplementary to the Vedas. Why? So the Puranas are very much prominent in Kali Yuga. Here Prabhupada is explaining the Vedic mantras are too difficult for an ordinary man. Because the Vedic mantras, they are like huge knowledge is given in short form. And we don't have that brain in Kali Yuga. No, we're too poor in our intelligence, in our habits, even to get time to sit and study. Right? Or the interest to begin with. The interest itself is not there. So Prabhupada is here, this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, the Vedic mantras are too difficult for an ordinary man. So therefore, and ordinary men, so this is elaborated. What are the categories of people in this Kali Yuga specifically? Meaning the women, the Shudras, the so-called twice born, meaning the Vaishya, the Kshatriya, and the Brahmanas. They are not able, because they've fallen, everybody has fallen down. So they are unable to penetrate into the sense of the Vedas. So therefore, by Krishna's wish, permission, the Vedas have practically vanished. We don't see the Vedas. But what we see are the Puranas. This is what is meant for this age. So thus, Srila Vyasadeva, he gave Mahabharata and Puranas. So if you want to know what is the content of the Vedas, we should read Mahabharata and the Puranas. Everything that we want to know, that we're supposed to be taught by the Vedas are being taught in Mahabharata and the Puranas. But it is made in a very simple way because their story type, it's like it's your life story. Mahabharata is the life story of so many personalities. And each personality is depicting a particular type of person, particular type of goodness or vices, and the results of this. Ramayana also. And the Puranas, like Srimad Bhagavatam, we are going to start reading this Srimad Bhagavatam. So many stories to just make us understand what is the consequence of wrong action and what is the result of proper action and what is the absolute truth and what we can reach beyond this material world in very simple way with stories. Where the Vedas is not giving us, like, for example, what we are reading right now, all this. It's the Vedas, right? It's the Vedas. And sometimes I have to, start thinking and then have to tell a story. How many people are going to just sit and read what we are just reading here without a story, right? Everybody knows. If you don't put in a story, you won't have an audience. So the Vedas are, I don't know how many hundreds and millions of times more than what we are reading here. We don't have patience and we'll run away. So, is introducing Krishna directly to us. The Vedas may indicate Krishna, but it is obvious only to those who are very, very intelligent, those who are able to pierce number one. You have to go beyond karma kandya, beyond all the demigod worship. You should be able to understand who is who, because the Vedas is giving you everybody. So you have to go beyond the Devas. Then you come to the Brahman, right? You have to pierce through Brahman. Then you have to pierce into the Paramatma. And then by good luck, you can come to Krishna. Whereas the Puranas is saying, yes, Krishna, take him. So the Puranas are divided in three gunas. In Sattvagun, in Rajagun, and in Tamagun. Tamagun, these are all matters related to the material world, which is governed by Durga Devi and Lord Shiva. Rajagun are all those Puranas that is governed by Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma is Prajapati. Prajapati meaning it's about creation. So most of those Puranas that are under Lord Brahma is how to be a good householder, how to perform your duties nicely, then how to become a Vanaprast, then maybe become a sannyasi. So these are the Puranas. And then you come the Puranas of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is telling you Parampadam. There is something beyond this creation. So it's not tamasic, it is not rajasic. It is more that you should be aware that there is something beyond. And finally, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Amala Puran. So maybe other Vishnu Puranas, they may support little bit of sense gratification here and there. But Srimad Bhagavatam will not support sense gratification at all. Because finally, Srimad Bhagavatam wants to present Krishna to us. And we cannot get Krishna. We cannot get Krishna unless we are ready to give up all other attachment. So, Lord Brahma said there is no limit to the fortune of the residents of Braj Bhumi, headed by Sri Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. Because the eternal absolute truth has become their intimate relative. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is introducing Krishna to all of us so that Krishna can become our intimate relative. So Krishna is not only Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai's intimate relative. You know, if Krishna will only be for Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj, why will we be interested in him? Right? Why? Waste our time, we're just going to be spectator, just watch all the Leela and we are out of it. No. Everybody wants to have his own Krishna. Right? So this is what Srimad Bhagavatam is going to present to us. All right, who wants to read next? Neha, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can you hear me?
Yes, play.
Mataji, can you guide me? Where are we?
The Vedic mantra maintains. Somebody knows where we are? Can read?
Page 23, starting.
Page 23.
Page 23.
Yes, Mataji. Pranava Om or
No,
the
no, 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 no. Who knows where we are? Please read.
I'll start. The Vedic mantra maintains that the absolute truth has no legs and no hands, and yet goes faster than all and accepts everything that is offered to him in motion. The latter statements definitely suggest the personal features of the Lord, although his hands and legs are distinguished from mundane hands and legs or other senses. Brahman, therefore,
Yeah, but each and every paragraph is like so much. The Vedic mantra maintains that the absolute truth has no legs, no hands, and yet goes faster than all and accepts everything that is offered to him in devotion. The latter statements definitely suggest the personal features of the Lord. Although his hands and legs are distinguished from mundane hands and legs or other senses. Where is this mantra from?
Shri Ishopanishad, Mataji.
Ishopanishad Mantra 4.
Okay, good. Oh, thank you. You did your homework. Oh, you read your Shishupanishad. All right, continue.
Brahman, therefore, is never impersonal, but when such mantras are indirectly interpreted, it is wrongly thought that the absolute truth is impersonal. The absolute truth personality of Godhead is full of all opulences, and therefore he has a transcendental form of full existence, knowledge, and bliss. How then can one establish that the absolute truth is impersonal?
So, based on what Shishupanishad is saying above, Brahman, therefore, is never impersonal. All right. So, it's contradictory statement. So, the Vedic mantra, Ishopanishad, is saying that the absolute truth, the Param Satyam, has no legs and no hands, and yet he's running faster than any other, right? And he's accepting the offerings, meaning he has legs and he has hands. So this means that the Lord is not impersonal. But when such mantras are indirectly interpreted, it is wrongly thought that the absolute truth is impersonal. So again, I come back to this point. See, it's like where your intelligence, how it's functioning. Everything is there in the same Vedic literature. But when you're reading, where your consciousness is focused, this is what you are seeing. All right? We are not seeing what the impersonalist is seeing because Srila Prabhupada is opening our eyes and showing us something different. All right? Whereas when the impersonalist, he will read this mantra Ishopanishad, he will immediately, because he's already got an idea in his mind of what he's looking for, and therefore he will give an interpretation of what he's perceiving in that mantra. Only thought that the absolute truth is impersonal. So we get stuck. I mean, see, why am I elaborating on this? Because we don't want to step out in the world and you have to fight with this party, this party, this party, because everybody's got an opinion of what's their philosophy, and you are like, completely lost. And then you pull over to their party. We have to remember that in this world, every jeev is happy where he is. He's conditioned in a certain way, and he's very happy to be in that condition, and he will hold on. He will just hold on. Whatever he believes in, he will not let go. He will hold on very tight. True or false? Hmm? Yeah, I'm saying, some of you are saying correct, because your experience, right? Now you have to put in something different. Right? So the impersonal is the same as the ordinary jiva who is holding on to his idea or her idea. So now this poor jiva, he has read in the Vedic mantras that God has no legs and no hands. All right. And even though it is so obvious, the mantra continues and says that yet he goes faster than on and accepts everything that is offered to him in devotion. He doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. Amazing how when you don't want to accept something, your mind just delete it out from your mind, and even you're reading, you don't see it. Is it true, Ashwini, we do that? Selective reading, selective hearing, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, you're very well experienced. Anyway, this is exactly what, even when we are going up in the spiritual spheres, this is exactly what we do.
While reading Bhagavad Gita also, Mataji, we do the same thing. And that's why every time we have to read it to understand it properly.
Selective reading. So the truth is, the absolute truth personality of Godhead is full of all opulences, and therefore he has a transcendental form of full existence, knowledge, and bliss. How then can one establish that the absolute truth is impersonal? You know, these fights even among transcendentalists, as we read the life of Sri Ramanujacharya, or we read the life of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, they fight even among these high-level people, they can even try to kill somebody. Ramanujacharya, when he was a boy, his guru, he was taking tuition from a Mayavad sannyasi. Maybe I spoke about this, I don't know, to this group or whichever group. So when Ramanujacharya's teacher was speaking Mayavad philosophy, this young boy, he's a devotee, deep in the heart, he couldn't tolerate it. So gradually, his guru, Mayavad philosopher, Mayavadi guru, started to understand that this boy, he is so sharp that he's a danger to the Mayavad philosophy. And what did he try to do? He tried to murder him. You have read the story of Ramanujacharya?
We have heard from you in the class. I heard it from you.
How many of you have read the story of Sri Ramanujacharya? This is one more. See, I'm giving you task for you to be able to understand Bhagavad Gita, Bhashimad Bhagavatam. There is so many other literature that you need to read. All right. So, in summary, you just try to find the life of Sri Ramanujacharya. A lot of what we are practicing in ISKCON is based on the teachings of Sri Ramanujacharya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a large section from Srila Ramanujacharya. So all this is very nicely explained by Sri Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya. These are the two main sampradaya from whom Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took. Brahman, yeah. Okay, who's reading? Okay, Neha, are you able? Okay.
Brahman, therefore, is never impersonal. But when such mantras are indirectly interpreted,
Being full of opulences, next paragraph.
Brahman, being full of opulences, is understood to have manifold energies, and all these energies are classified under three headings under the authority of Vishnu Purana 6.7.60, which says that the transcendental energies of Lord Vishnu are primarily three. His spiritual energy, the energy of the living entities, are classified as superior energy, whereas the material energy is an inferior one, which is sprouted out of ignorance.
How, let's just look at how systematic this discussion is going on. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first is establishing the Praman, the source of information for what he's discussing further. So he's establishing the Vedas. Yes, everybody's accepting the Vedas, but he's establishing the Puranas and Mahabharata as Praman, Shabda Praman, authoritative source of knowledge. Then he started to describe about this, the goal of all these Vedas, of all the Vedas, the Puranas, Mahabharata, is to know Krishna. Shri Nandanandana, Rajendra Nandana Krishna. Then he started to describe, now he has to move, he has set the objective. The objective is to know Krishna. All right. Now he's going systematically. He's going that now he has to prove that beyond this material creation is another entity who is not impersonal. He is without material legs and hands, but he has spiritual hands and legs.
Yes, Mataji.
So now, topic. Which topic is it?
Yes,
He shifted his topic now. What is the topic?
his three energies.
His three energies. What are his three energies?
His spiritual energy, and then para prakriti and apara prakriti.
What is this Paraprakriti? What is this Aparaprakriti?
Like as living entities, jiva and the material world, material energy.
Okay. So, his spiritual energy is Antaranga Shakti. All right. Then his Jiva Shakti. All right. And then his Bahiranga Shakti. Right. Now what is being introduced are the Shaktis of the Lord. So Brahman, Paramatma, ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now the Supreme Personal Godhead has energy, Shakti. Antaranga Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Bahiranga Shakti. Yeah, continue.
The energy of the living entities is technically called Kshetrajana energy. This
Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna.
Shratagnya energy. This Shratagnya energy, although equal in quality with the Lord, becomes overpowered by material energy out of ignorance and thus suffers all sorts of material miseries. In other words, the living entities are located in the marginal energy between the superior spiritual and inferior material energies. And in proportion to the living being's contact with either the material or the superior energies, the living entity is situated in proportionately higher and lower levels of existence.
Okay, now, so this energy of the living entity is called Kshetrajna Shakti. All right? And this Kshetrajna, what is this Kshetrajna from your Bhagavad Gita?
Was the knower of the field.
Yes, the knower of the field. Which field?
The body,
The body, the knower of the body. So this is the living entity. All right, Kshetragya Shakti, the lower of the body. Who's residing in this body is the Jeev. And this Jeev is a Shakti of the Supreme Lord. And this Shakti is equal in quality to the Lord, with the Lord. But this food, Kshetra Shakti, gets overpowered by
Material.
Bahiranga Shakti. All right? How does he become overpowered by Bahiranga Shakti? Out of ignorance, of vidya. What is that avidya? Ignorance. What is his ignorance?
Forgetfulness that he is the soul and not the body.
Is his primary forgetfulness.
Forgetfulness, Krishna.
Yes, he forgets Krishna. All right? His primary forgetfulness is he forgets Krishna. He removes Krishna from his life. And he wants to be alone, like children as they grow up. Finally, they just want to be free from parental control. Finally, I'm free. So, and very nicely, they the Jeev, very nicely, I just heard one lecture Prabhupada saying about this attachment. So he said that in this material world, all attachment for family members gradually fade away. Whether it is your child, whether it's any attachment in this material world gradually fades away. So this is a characteristic of this material world. So our relationship with Krishna, which can never be cut because the Paramatma has to put us in this material world. What is another Kshetra here?
The Kshetragya of all bodies.
Who is that?
Karma.
Paramatma. Okay, so the two Kshetragya. One is the original Kshetragya, who is the Purushottam, and second is the Kshetragya, who is the Shakti. So this Jeev Atma completely let go of his remembrance of the Supreme Lord. Connection cannot be broken because the Jiva is dependent on this Paramatma. That Atma, I say it like this, the Atma of the Atma is this Paramatma. Just like the you are the Atma of your body. Similarly, the Paramatma is the Atma of your Atma. Paramanu. As who said this? Hiranyakashipu, I think he said this. He says, where is Vishnu? Vishnu is hidden in the heart of his devotees, so nobody anyway, he's not visible, he's powerless. So you could say that our relationship with Krishna is deactivated. This is what you call ignorance. Cannot be broken because without him, you can't do anything. But it is deactivated. Modern language. So the Jeev gets overpowered by material energy out of ignorance. What is that ignorance? He forgets Krishna. So as soon as he forgets Krishna, immediately Maya touches him or her. And thus suffers all sorts of material misery. So the misery, it is pertaining to what? Misery. Misery affects only what?
Material
Yes, only the material body and senses, the material mind, meaning that if you manage by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, which we are practicing, by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, if you manage to go beyond the material body, there is no misery. Misery is affecting only the material body and mind. In other words, the living entities are located. Now just note this word from Srila Prabhupada. Where's the location of the Jeev in this entire existence? Where is he located? So, in other words, the living entities are located in the marginal energy between the superior, which is spiritual, and which is inferior, that is the material energies. This marginal position is called
Tatastha Shakti.
Tatastha. Tatastha. He is situated, example is given of the shore, meaning shore is neither land nor ocean. Because the ocean sometimes will cover the shore, and sometimes it will recede and seem like it's sand. So this Jeev, I mean, that's all of us. Sometimes we are with Krishna, and sometimes we out. Again, we pull back. Yes, I want to be bhakta. I practice very nice, and then let me relax. I have other things to do, right? So, in other words, the living entities are located. This is his location, his sthiti, his location. In other words, the living entities are located in the marginal energy between the superior and inferior energies. And in proportion to the living entities' contact with either the material or spiritual energies, the living entity is situated in proportionately higher or lower levels of existence. So this Jeev, if he falls into material existence, so he's lower. And if he starts to move, so he will go higher and higher. Is it clear? Location of the Jeev? Yeah, Anupama, Madhvi?
Yes, Mataji, this is clear, but I had a question on the line which you said. By practice of Bhakti Yoga, if you can go beyond the material body and mind, there is no misery. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, because you're no longer, misery, we already said, can affect only the material body. Right? If you don't eat, you feel hungry, but the soul doesn't have hunger. Right? The soul is not dependent on food. Isn't it? And we read in our Chaitanya Charitamrita also, right? The soul doesn't require the body. So the
So, Mataji, my
mind,
question is on the how to do that, right? So that means
what Prabhupada has given is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vandanam. Right? This is the process. The deeper, the more we engage in these activities, the soul will become on a higher and higher level of consciousness, higher level of existence. The soul will distill out from the material body. Remember, Atma has become one with material body. Has become one with material body completely. You can't distinguish between the soul and the material body. They look exactly the same, right? So now by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, you are separating, you're distilling out the Atma from the gross and subtle body. Just like we've read, the subtle body has the exact shape as the gross body. You've heard about this? Okay? The shape doesn't belong to the gross body. The shape belongs to the subtle body. All right. So when the gross body is removed, what is left behind is your next gross body, which has taken a subtle shape. Right? How you transmigrate, isn't it? Now, this subtle body also is not your original body. This subtle body is covering your soul. So just like your gross body is determining your subtle body and hence your next birth, similarly, what you do with your subtle body will determine how much you have advanced in spiritual life. And the soul will start moving out from that subtle body also. But this bhakti yoga has to be done tivrena bhakti yoga. Tivrena. Tivra. What is the meaning of tivra?
Very
One-pointed.
Yeah, sharp like an arrow. Tivrena, no time pass. With great attention and determination. Then you can feel, see, the number one test is that, and distress do not touch you. You are no longer running after happiness. And when distress comes, you can observe it and let it pass. Right. Ashwini, can you read?
Thank you so much. The Lord is beyond the inferior and marginal energies as above mentioned, and his spiritual energy is manifested in three different phases: as eternal existence, eternal bliss, and eternal knowledge. As far as eternal existence is concerned, it is conducted by the Sandhini potency. Similarly, bliss and knowledge are conducted by the Ladini and Samvit potencies, respectively. As the supreme energetic Lord, he is the supreme controller of the spiritual, marginal, and material energies. And all these different types of energies are connected with the Lord in eternal devotional service.
So now, the Lord is beyond the inferior. What is the inferior energy? What is this inferior?
Is Bahiranga Shakti.
Bahiranga.
Material.
Bahiranga Shakti. So the Lord is beyond the inferior Bahiranga Shakti and marginal energy. Marginal.
It's the energy which is human, jivas. Jivas are in marginal energy.
So what's the Sanskrit term?
Tatastha Shakti.
Tatastha. Okay.
Tatastha.
So the Lord is beyond the inferior, meaning the material energy, and the marginal energy, which is in between the spiritual and material, and his spiritual energy. Now, we leave behind the material creation, which consists of material energy and marginal energy. All right. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is discussing the spiritual energy. So he said, his spiritual energy is manifested in 3 different phases. What is it? Eternal existence, meaning there's no death. All right? Eternal existence. There's no death. Eternal bliss, meaning that this, wavering was vacillating between happiness and distress. If you're happy today, you don't know when your distress will come, right? And if you're in distress now, you will say, okay, that will come, that will pass anyway. In India, everybody speak like that. That it will pass, everybody knows. And they're very much what we call aram say, It's amazing. Very much aram say. It will pass. They're so patient. They know the time factor, how it fluctuates. It will pass. But just tolerate. Here, the Vedic Shastra is not telling us just tolerate all this. The Vedic Shastra is saying get out. It's good. It's good to tolerate, otherwise you can't live. Which verse of Bhagavad Gita says this? We should tolerate happiness and distress.
Two point 14.
2.14, yeah. Krishna said tolerate, but finally Krishna said get out. Don't just sit and tolerate. First thing is one more birth, another birth, another birth. Just tolerate. That's what life is about. Where's the happiness? Right? So eternal bliss and eternal knowledge, meaning don't ever forget what we are. Right? So Krishna never forgets his identity. For us, it's good that Krishna never forgets his identity. He never forgets that he is our protector, our maintainer. Right? He never forgets. We forget. He's our maintainer and protector. But Krishna, he never forgets. Why? Because he never falls in Maya. As far as eternal existence concerned, it is conducted. So there is a different set of energies that operate in the spiritual world. So this is called Sangini potency and Hladini potency. So eternity, meaning where there is no death. So this is conducted by his Sangini potency. Then the bliss aspect, the happiness, eternal happiness, intensified happiness is conducted by Hladini. That which gives pleasure, that which gives happiness is called Hladini. And Samvit, meaning we do not forget who we are. Krishna never forgets who he is. This is the Samvitsha. As the supreme energetic Lord, he is the supreme controller of the spiritual, marginal, and material energies. And all these different types of energies are connected with the Lord in eternal relations. I hope that each one of you has pen and paper, because in my mind already I'm writing on my whiteboard so many things. All right. So I hope you think best with drawings. All right. You think best with drawings, meaning that now it has been categorized. We've been discussing of energy. Here, what are we discussing?
Spiritual energy of Krishna.
Okay, one part of it.
And marginal and material.
One part of it. We are done with the energy. What are we discussing here?
Satchitanand.
We are discussing the 3 divisions of the spiritual energy. Sandhini,
Okay. Okay.
And how to,
And
how
then
to-
what?
to get
Then
out of it. We have to get out of it. Otherwise,
No.
we have
potencies of the
Krishna
energy.
never forgets the relationship with us, but we forget.
These are different. What is the topic here? I
The
have
dev-
it for you, but what is the topic here?
Is it devotional service, Mataji?
The energies in the spiritual world and the energetic. Shakti, Shaktiman. This paragraph, the previous paragraph was discussing the three categories of energy, right? Then this paragraph is discussing about the energies that pervades the spiritual sky, right? Where there is no touch of inferior or even the tatastha. All right? The living beings, they are not, having double mind in Golok Vrindavan. They have single mind. They want to be with Krishna. Mind is made up. Whereas the Jeev who is Tatastha, he doesn't know whether he wants to be in Krishna or he wants to be in material enjoyment. He doesn't know. So we shifted from the material world into the spiritual world, where it is Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini Shakti that operates. Who is the possessor of all these energy is called what?
Shaktiman.
Shaktiman.
Shaktiman. And in English, what is the word?
Energetic.
Energetic. Okay. So why we are calling him the energetic? Because he's the supreme energetic. So why? Because he's controlling with the Shaktiman. He who's full of that, who's the possessor, is actually the possessor of all energies. So he's controlling. So please write down, make your little drawing. Shaktiman means he's controller of what? The spiritual, marginal, and material energies. Right? Shaktiman is he who is the controller of three spiritual, marginal, and material energies. And now, what is the relationship? What is the relationship between all these energies and the Supreme Lord? How does it connect? How can you connect?
Through eternal devotional service.
Yes, through eternal devotional service. When you engage in devotional service, whether it is matter, whether it is the tatastha, the jiva, or it is the spiritual, all three, if there are energies, all three of them are engaged in devotional service. Those who are in the spiritual sky, the living beings who are in the spiritual sky, they are 100% permanently connected with the Supreme Lord in eternal devotions. Those who are marginal can overcome their tendency to come into the material world and connect with the Supreme Lord through devotional service. And material energy can be transformed into spiritual by engaging material energy into the Lord's service. So he becomes spiritual energy. For example, your food. Your food is material, right? Food is material, right? So when I offer the food to Krishna, it becomes spiritual. So in Bhakti Yoga, I am connecting with the Supreme Lord. All right, I think this is sufficient. Only few paragraphs we read. I think this is sufficient. Okay? Is it okay? Are you all able to follow?
Mataji, this was the last line. As you said, we see very selectively. So I felt that, that they're saying different energies also have personality and they're connected with Krishna in devotional service?
Sorry?
It says that these different types of energies are connected with the Lord in eternal devotional service.
So what it's saying, and all these different types of energies, namely spiritual, marginal, and material energies, right? And this is what I have explained just now. So, and all these different types of energies, namely the spiritual, I have explained that those who are in the spiritual world, they have only one aim, one desire to serve Krishna. All right, those who are in the spiritual world. Those Shaktis who are like the living beings, like Radharani, like everybody, all the inhabitants of Vraj, they have only one desire, right? The inhabitants of Vaikuntha, they have only one desire. It is to be connected with the Supreme Lord in devotional service. Then I say the marginal energy, meaning that's us, the jiva in this material world. So all these, so they can get connected with the Supreme Lord in devotional service. And the material energies, gets converted into spiritual energy when we engage the material into in Krishna service. See, in our vision, in our mind, there is dissociation between Krishna and the rest of the world. In our mind, but it is not true. It is not true. Just because I forget Krishna, it doesn't deny the existence, my own existence with Krishna, or my dependence with Krishna, or Krishna's supreme controllership over everything that exists, just because I deny his existence or his presence. So therefore it says here, and all these different types of energies are connected with the Lord in eternal devotional service. Which verse can you tell me from Bhagavad Gita which describes this? Nase ye yathamam prapadyante. Right?
Dampatesva bhajamyaham mama vartamani vartmante 4.11.
Open Bhagavad Gita. I don't have my Bhagavad Gita. Just read 4.11.
Bhajamyaham mama vartamani vartmante.
I'm interested in the second section of this verse.
4.11. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha.
All right, everyone follows my path in all respects. Right? This is what is being discussed here. And all these different types of energies are connected with the Lord in eternal devotional service. Okay, Ashwini?
Yes.
So you get the point that it is like one-sided, this thing that, I don't want to engage in devotional service. It's one-sided. The fact is that you have no choice but to be in devotional service because you cannot remove your relationship with the Supreme Lord just because you just close your eyes and you forget him. You follow? It's very much one-sided. It's not the reality. Any question?
Mataji, when we were studying about the three aspects of realization of the Supreme Lord, so in that the Paramatma feature, so the Jivatma who is interested in the Paramatma feature of the Lord, so he is meditating on the Vishnu Roop of the Lord, the four-handed form. So why is he not said to have understood Krishna, the complete, the absolute truth? Because
And because it's second level of realization, right? We're just speaking about how this Jeev is happily disconnecting himself from Krishna, right? And gradually it is being forced by material nature to accept that there is something beyond this creation. And so he starts to move, or he's making his way out. But this Jeev is stubborn, doesn't want to surrender to Krishna. And when he reads the Vedic literatures, like the Vedic literatures in weaning him out of his attachment to this material world. So he's moving a step at a time. So these yogis, Ashtanga yogis, they get stuck on that level. So they are seeing the Supreme Lord, but they're not yet ready to surrender and say, yes, I will serve you. So he's already liberated from material conception. He's already in Sat. And his chit, he's conscious. He's conscious of his identity. He's conscious of that the Supreme Lord has an identity, but he's not ready to take that third step, which is to surrender to Krishna. He's not ready. So therefore, he just spent his time in contemplation of this Paramatma feature. But devotees get bored. Devotees say, I want to do something. I can't just sit in contemplation. Because how long can you sit up in front of your deities and just admire them? Practical, right? Get restless. Let me go and cook something. Let me clean the house. Let me go out and work. I bring money to make outfits for my deities. Let me give to the cows, it's Krishna's cows. Right? Are we not like that? Because we are in Sat, we have moved out of the material world. We can sit there in contemplation for an extremely long time. And maybe, while we're sitting and contemplating, Bahunam Janamanam Ante, Jnanavam Mam Prapadyante, right? Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So while I'm sitting in contemplation, maybe Hari Bol goes by me and give me mala, right? Give me prasadam and mala. And I have a change of mind. So, oh, there's something more. It's quite pathetic. Therefore, this Jeev is called Nitya Badha. Meaning, out of this material world, you're crawling out. Literally, you're crawling out because this Jeev is so determined not to surrender to Krishna. So you have escaped from material suffering, right? So, okay, you managed to escape, so you merge in Brahman. Okay, Brahman is not sufficient, you heard that. There's something more interesting, which is Paramatma. which is good. You ask me, how much reading and how much, I never knew that Atma and Paramatma are different, because whatever books I was reading, they make the Atma and Paramatma as one. They speak of only one. In this body, there's only one. Go on reading and reading until one devotee just pushed it on me and told me there are two. Even after I was reading the books, I couldn't figure out. There is Atma and Paramatma. I'm so shaken. It's too. Right, it took me an entire life of studying Bhagavatam, etc., before I figure out what is that Paramatma realization. It's stuff now, right?
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachit.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank